There's been a lot going on with Universal Orlando over the guest dying on Stardust Racers at Epic Universe, but after an investigation by the park as well as a third party investigating it, they have decided that they're going to be reopening the ride with some minor safety guidelines added onto the initial warning signs for the ride. Now, some people are thinking that the ride should still be closed for further investigation or maybe an overhaul. Other people are saying that that's good enough and that they should open the ride. But one thing I think is for sure, this isn't necessarily the end of the trouble for Universal. But before we really get into this, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And if you can, leave a comment and hit the like button too, because it helps me out. Breaking: Stardust Racers at Epic Universe reopening tomorrow afternoon. This is coming from that park place. And I've already done a couple videos talking about this. You can go back in my channel and check those out if you haven't heard anything about this. But basically, a guest in a wheelchair rode the ride and then ended up dying on the ride. The official report says that he was unresponsive when the ride pulled in, so they took him to a hospital where he was pronounced dead. Later, it was determined that he died from multiple blunt impact trauma injuries. Now, the family of the victim says that he was hit multiple times in the head, and when he pulled into the station, there was blood pouring down his head, and then that's when they took him to the hospital. I haven't seen anything like that confirmed in any official reporting. That's just the family, and they're also wanting to have their own investigation. They've lawyered up and are wanting to do another investigation on the ride to determine what actually happened. But this is the family trying to position themselves for a lawsuit, and I did a video talking about that, and I don't really have a problem with the family looking to sue the park as a result of this, because if they think the park is responsible, then naturally they're going to want some type of compensation as a result of this, and also Universal should be punished if they are responsible for this. But you also have to kind of go through the weeds on this one too, because they're going to be making claims, Universal is going to be making claims, and you don't really know who's actually telling the truth in this matter, because both sides in this issue have an incentive to try to make themselves look as innocent as possible in all this. But Universal willing to open the ride with little to no modifications does kind of suggest that they don't feel like they have to worry about other park guests dying on the ride, because if they did their investigation and then saw that there was a flaw in it that could result in the death of a park guest, well, then I would assume that they would want to fix that as opposed to having to deal with PR nightmares like people dying on the ride. But since they're continuing on with it, then to me, that suggests that Universal didn't find a reason to keep it closed down besides some of the minor modifications that they're going to be doing. After weeks of uncertainty and speculation, Universal Orlando Resort has confirmed that Stardust Racers, the dual launch roller coaster at Epic Universe, will officially reopen tomorrow afternoon on October 4th, 2025. Initially thought to be rumor, that Park Place personally verified the information with a Universal team member over the phone. She let us know that Stardust Racers is slated to reopen in the afternoon tomorrow, not at opening, October 4th, 2025, with updates to its rider requirements. The announcement comes after the high-profile ride was closed following a tragic incident last month, sparking both public outcry and internal safety reviews. And to me, they did kind of the right thing when everything happened. Is they closed down the ride immediately, then started investigating, and even brought in a third-party investigator. Well, actually, I don't think it was a Universal bringing in a third-party investigator. The state assigned a third-party investigator to examine the ride, and both parties in this manner said that, yeah, safety protocols were followed. This was just a tragic accident. Now, what they're talking about here with updates in the rider requirements, this is what they're talking about. So I got this image pulled up because on Stardust Racers, just like any other roller coaster that they have at parks or any other type of big ride, there's always these kind of signs posted up as a warning to guests. Basically, don't ride it if you have a heart condition, unhealed surgery, expecting mother, motion sickness, or dizziness. You just kind of get the idea. Then requirements, they say guests under 48 inches cannot ride. Now, this is something that they're adding to their signs now. Guests using mobility devices must be able to walk independently. And what I think that's they're adding that to it, because the guest who tragically died on the roller coaster was in a wheelchair, couldn't use his legs. I believe he was paralyzed from the waist down. I don't know the specifics of his condition, but it really does feel like, at least to me, that his medical condition was a contributing factor into his death on the roller coaster. Now, his family has said that he's ridden many roller coasters in the past with no problems, but I believe that that's probably the case too, because people usually don't have a problem until they do have a problem, and then it's something like this, or at least that can happen before. Maybe you could say that there could have been a minor injury, but he's never had anything like that before. But again, the family has all the incentive in the world to try to make it seem as if this is just strictly Universal's problem, and it's strictly because of this ride. And his medical condition had no impact on his safety on the ride whatsoever. And they say that he experienced multiple blunt force impact trauma to the head because, I don't know, some flaw with the ride. Now, mind you, this ride has been open since May. At least that's when Epic Universe officially opened. In that time frame, there's probably been 2 to 3 million people who've ridden it. And besides minor issues, which are kind of to be expected on a ride like this, there's never been any type of death or anything of this significance, which to me suggests that it's not necessarily the ride, unless there's just some freak circumstance or maybe some part that wore out or what, something like some crazy occurrence that might have caused this to happen. Unless that was actually the case, it really does seem like it's the result of someone who was riding the ride who probably shouldn't have been riding the ride because of his condition. Now, some might say it's like, well, he's in a wheelchair. If he's ridden roller coasters in the past, if the restraints are good, then it should be fine. And I can understand that sentiment, but you have to keep in mind, even if you can hold on to the restraints with your arms, one of the things on rides like this, when it's really fast, jerking around, twisting and turning and all that other stuff, it's not only that your arms are holding you, but also your legs kind of brace your body too and keep your body like braced back against the seat. So if you're not able to do that properly, then maybe there could be a circumstance where the restraining bars are there and you're not able to brace your core or anything like that. So then you're hitting your head. And at least that's kind of what it sounds like to me may have actually happened. Now, is that Universal's fault? Perhaps. Like I said at the start of the video, I don't see their legal troubles ending just because they're opening the roller coaster. The family could very well launch their own. Well, they say they're launching their own investigation into the matter, and they could still very much sue Universal. But now Universal, at least it indicates on their behalf that they don't have a problem with the ride in its current configuration, other than just updating the safety measures. Because before they said they didn't have anything about people in wheelchairs or people who couldn't walk riding the ride. Now they're saying if you can't walk on your own, then you can't ride the ride. And maybe that's Universal also just trying to get ahead of everything. So if the court case goes out, they're like, yeah, they can just say like, yeah, we understand that that's a dangerous thing now because a guest died as a result of it. So we updated our safety measures. That's not something that's, whether or not that's Universal's fault, I think would be up to a jury in that matter. So talking about its initial debut, the incident quickly divided public opinion. Crumps and other advocates demanded that the coaster remain closed until a full investigation could guarantee guest safety. Like I said before, I think Universal wouldn't keep it open if they felt it was unsafe. At least if they did do that, if they did open it up regardless, and they're just inviting a bunch of lawsuits down the road if they found something that could possibly be dangerous. If it was closed for months and then they opened it up, that would suggest that there was a flaw in it that they tried to fix. But since it's just so soon, it seems like it was enough time to properly do an investigation, have the state agency do an investigation, determine that it was just an accident as a result of the guest not being able to use his legs, and then they reopened it, not really worried about the results. Meanwhile, coaster enthusiasts and frequent parkgoers began campaigns on social media urging Universal to bring the ride back, emphasizing that the attraction represents a flagship experience for the park. And as someone myself who actually enjoys roller coasters and rides like this, I would not have a problem going on. Like I said before, millions of people have ridden it. This is the only real incident on it. And he's someone clearly with a medical condition. So I would think more likely than not, that's the issue in all this. Posts on X, TikToks, and fan forums circulated under hashtags like reopen Stardust Racers, arguing that with updated safety protocols, the coaster could return stronger than ever. Universal have confirmed that during the closure, engineers and ride safety experts conducted a comprehensive evaluation of Stardust Racer system. Adjustments were made to the restraint mechanisms, height and weight restrictions were updated, and additional safety checks have been implemented before each ride dispatch. Okay, so they found there was a freak occurrence where something bad happened on the ride. They made the adjustments to it, and now it's reopening. Now, realistically, what might happen to Universal on this one would be the family goes for a lawsuit, and as long as the lawsuit's hanging over their head, it kind of it kind of puts a cloud over this ride. So what I think may actually happen is the family will file a lawsuit against Universal as a result of all this. And Universal might give them some type of settlement out of court just to kind of make this whole thing go away. And I really don't have a problem with that, but that would also be Universal kind of admitting that there was a flaw on their part in that one. But at the same time, if they pursued this and tried to take it to court, well, then what would that look like for Universal? It's if they lost that case, then they would lose significantly more. But if they win it, then you'd get the headlines of like, oh, Universal basically financially ruined a family who had a relative die on one of their rides, and then they beat them in court, and now the family's out of a lot of court fees and all this other stuff. So basically, Universal is in a non-win situation, and I think the least painful thing that they can do would ultimately settle this out of court with the family, and that's probably what's going to happen in the near future. But for now, the roller coaster is going to be operational, and people who are wanting to ride it are going to have the chance to ride it. But let me know what you think about this in the comment section below. Do you think Universal is at fault? Do you think this is just a tragic accident as a result of the medical condition from the individual who wrote it? And what do you think is going to be the outcome? Is it going to be a lawsuit? Is it going to be a settlement? I'm curious what people have to say about it. Also, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button if you want to stay up to date with the latest entertainment news. And don't forget to hit the like button and share the video out there because it helps out with the channel. Thank you.